Hi everyone, it's chat time. Yes, as you can tell today, I'll be speaking English for this video, as I originally planned to speak English for the first video. Now what happened to that? I realized that there's nothing like your native language when you're filming yourself for the first time. So since I spoke Korean for the first video, I'm going to be speaking English and I plan to take turn. So next video will be in Korean, but don't worry, I'm going to be putting both language subtitles below, so no worries for that. Now let's start! So how have you guys been this week? There's much craziness going on here in US with COVID-19 spreading, and sadly I got a mild cold this week. So let me tell you this, I do not like being sick. It does not help me live my days to fullness. It really hinders me from loving my husband and children to fullness, and I really do not enjoy being sick at all. But I have to say, I did enjoy resting. I got to take nap, I got to read and think about life, and I love to rest. And there's such beauty in resting. And today, I would like to chat with you about resting. So today's topic is... I honestly enjoy this too much. Don't you think? Anyways, what does rest mean to you? And what do you do when you rest? When do you actually feel rested? I've done all kinds of rest. Because you see, I wanted to rest well. We often think about working well and being a hard worker, but we don't think much about resting well and being a solid resters. If we wanted to do well in work, we need to rest well before and after work. But you know, after all, it seems that we started by resting. So in the Bible, God created heaven and earth and everything in between. And on the sixth day, God created us human. And then He rested for the seventh day, the Shabbat. You see what I'm going with this? So the first man and woman rested with God before they did anything else. But it's quite the opposite in our culture. We work and then we rest. Work comes first before the rest. So why does that matter? Trust me, it mattered for me to learn this. And I'm about to share with you something that was very valuable for me to learn. Something I really wish I knew from my youth. So many of you who are Christian already know that in the Bible, a day starts at sunset, not at sunrise. But for us, the day starts when the sun comes up, and the days come to an end when the sun comes down. So who changed that? For what reason? I don't know. But the way I understand is that in our society, work is at least like 1,000 times more important than rest. Rest is something we do if we get a chance, maybe when you retire. But work is something you do day and night. That is the kind of work ethic I see in the world I live today. So there are such words. It's admired words. Hard worker, work ethic, which are good and there's nothing wrong with it. I want to be a hard worker too and have a great work ethic. But there aren't words like great rester or rest ethic. It sounds already really weird, right? There are, of course, words like peacemaker, but they seem, at least to me, not as admired as words like hard workers in our society. So our day begins with work and ends with rest. But is it really a big deal? Well, I say that it is because I want to read you these verses in the Bible And please listen carefully. And this is a beautiful story of Yeshua showing love to two very different women. I think you know what it is. Now, while they were traveling, Yeshua entered a certain village, and a woman named Martha welcomed him into her house. She had a sister called Miriam, who was seated at the Master's feet, listening to his teaching. But Martha was distracted with much serving, so she approached Yeshua and said, "Masters, doesn't it concern you that my sister has left me to serve alone? Then tell her to help me." But answering her, the Lord said, "Martha, Martha, you are anxious and bothered about many things, but only one thing is necessary. For Miriam has chosen the good part, which will not be taken from her." Amen. So what do you guys think? Every time I read this verse, I just get so overwhelmed by the things that he reveals about the rest and work through this passage. And I always thought, of course it's best to enjoy Yeshua's presence, but somebody's gotta cook. I know you thought of that too, at least once. And I pray to God to speak to me and to enlighten me to understand this passage better. Because I love being busy like Martha. I love getting things done. And are you kidding me? If Yeshua visits me, Korean 정식, that'd be me. But just like Mary, I would love to cling to him too. Just thinking about sitting with him and just letting go of everything around me and enjoying his presence. What can you ask for more? I would love to one day. And I love to look into my husband's eyes and just talk about how our days went. And I love to be in the moment when I hang out with my kids. I love resting and being in the moment. I don't always want to be busy, but can the work and the rest both happen? And which one is a better portion? Did you ever wonder that? And my answer was this. Start your day like Mary, end your day like Martha. And repeat. Not the other way around like the world suggests, but start your day like Mary and end it like Martha. Although I am emphasizing the importance of resting and having Mary time before doing work, I am by no means belittling the work that we do to serve others. But to do such work well, I find resting like Marie is very, very necessary. When I was leading a small group discussion at my old church, someone asked me, he said, "I'm so busy." No, that's not how he said. But he said he's so busy. He has all these school assignments, college events. He wants to enjoy his time with friends, and he wants to help his family in need. And all these things are so necessary. But he can't do all of it. So he has to choose what he wants to do, what is more necessary. And he said he's so stressed because of that. And he asked me, "Well, what do you have to say? What's your suggestion?" I know, and I think I know you know what he means. Everybody felt this way at least once, if not always. It's easy to choose when there's obviously a bad thing to do and a good thing to do. Then just do good thing. But if there's both good thing to do, then which good thing do you do? It gets harder, right? I guess the simple way of doing is just jumble everything together and do as much as you can. And forget about the things that you couldn't. But what if all those ones that you missed out are the most urgent one? What do you do? Or what if resting was actually the most necessary, not all those work? You never know. So how do we actually judge that? How do we actually decide that?
How do we know?
So my answer was only God knows. Only God knows. So that is why we should ask Him to guide us as to how we spend our day doing what. And that is married time. Spend time to talk to Him and to listen to Him and ask Him all that you need to and all that you want to, and He will guide you. And then do the things that He tells you to do first. And now you can do it in peace and with passion. Better Martha. Ta-da! Honestly, it happens a lot to me too. My life, as others are too, is economy. And there's demand and there's supply. Even if I exclude bad demands, there are so many good demands for good and necessary. So when I was younger, I used to try to jumble it all together and try to knock it out as many as I can in a single day, and I get so burnt out and sick that I would need to disappear from the earth for a good long time. It was terrible. I do not recommend it. I was really Martha in the worst way possible. Then there's Mary part of me. I don't like checking phones or being disturbed when I'm spending time with someone. I always tell myself I should have been born in ancient time where there's no phone. We write letters and we ride horses to get to places. People don't demand you to rush. Besides, I love carriage. I really do. I love riding it. But anyways, I really love to be in the moment. So there were days that I would stay up all night and talk to my families about all kinds of things, and we would laugh, we would cry. That the next day when I went to work, I was like zombie. But I do not regret. I look back and those were such cherishable memories for me with my family. But for those who wanted to reach me and I was not able to respond, or for the work that I had to do the next day, that was not as good Martha-like as I wanted it to be. So there's Martha me and there's Mary me. And there's nothing wrong with being Martha or Mary. We are all Martha in some way and Mary in some way. But just Mary first and then Martha. That was the lesson I learned. And I bet you will feel less guilty for not responding to all the demands and also feel more accomplished knowing that you are doing the things that He planned for you to accomplish. So as for me, being with Yeshua and spending time with Him is the rest. Other things, I guess I could call it a hobby time, and it can be beneficial in its own way. But when I really, really want to truly rest, I seek Yeshua. And I tell Him what troubles my heart and anything that I need to talk to Him. And He always tells me what He has to say. And there's no other rest that I've experienced that is better than being with Him and spending time with Him. So I truly understand why Mary chose the best part, because she was having the rest. Imagine spending time with someone who understands all your thoughts and feelings, and knowing all that He has the best way to let you know how much you're loved. Oh, what more can you ask? It just, my bucket's filled up. I'm ready to serve Him now. We gotta fill up the bucket and then pour it out, Oh, I had a little bit of water left. So please remember, rest is important. Rest gives you discernment for as little as what becomes the priority of your day, and as big as what is the purpose of your life. What do you live your life for? And why do you live today? Take your time to rest and ask to the ones who give the life to you. So you can give the best for your life. Well, that's it for today. And thank you for joining me. Until next chat time, bye!